So now we're trying to solve an inequality and we don't have the graph to start out with. But that's okay because we know that we're interested in when this function touches the x-axis. That's the only time we can change sign. So let's go ahead and factor this guy and find out when the sign changes. So x squared plus 6x plus 8 is going to factor into x plus 4 times x plus 2. And so if we want to know when our graph equals the x-axis, that'll be when x plus 4 equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. So we hit the x-axis at x equals -4 and x equals -2. So what I'm going to do next is draw a sign chart, S-I-G-N, sign. And I'm going to put each of my factors on here. So I'll have x plus 4 and x plus 2. And then I'll have the entire polynomial, so x plus 4 times x plus 2. Because I'm trying to find the sign of our polynomial. And I know the only place that we can change sign is at -4 and -2. So I'll mark those in order at the top. Now, I want to start out by plugging in something less than -4 into x plus 4. So let's plug in -5. What do we get? If we plug in -5, we'll get -5 plus 4, which is equal to -1. So this is negative. Then if we plug in something between -4 and -2, let's say -3, then we'll get -3 plus 4, which is 1, which is positive. And then if we plug in something greater than -2, let's say 0, then we get 0 plus 4, which is equal to 4, which is still positive. Let's do the same thing for x plus 2. We plug in -5, we'll get -5 plus 2, and that's negative, right? It's equal to -3. And then -3 plus 2, what does that give us? That gives us -1, so we're still negative. And then 0 plus 2, what does that give us? That gives us 2, which is positive. So now, it's easy for us to find out what the entire function is doing because it's just going to be the product of these two things, right? So it's the product of two negatives when x is less than -4, so the whole thing will be positive. And then between -4 and -2, one of these terms is positive, but the other one's negative, so the whole thing's going to end up being negative. And then when we're greater than -2, both terms are positive, so we'll be positive again. So that our answer is going to be wherever we see plus signs, right? Because we're looking for when we're greater than 0. So we'll go from -infinity to -4, open, union, -2 to infinity. And we're open because we don't have equality at 0. So this is our answer.